So continuing the discussion that we had, coming to the next question. I think we had a couple of more questions before that. Can you move up? I could see Orbindo and all that. Where is that? Where are those questions?
So I think
No?
out of them only two had to be
Okay.
attempted, so he attempted.
Okay, discuss the major provisions of the 74th Amendment Act. Do you think the act remains as an unfulfilled dream? Argue your case. 74th Amendment Act lays down the grassroots level governance in the form of urban local bodies. It inspired from the rich tradition of India from Uttar Pradesh inscription to Gandhian Swaraj, and even goes back to the times of Ashoka and even to the Vedic period in some ways. So the one of provision of the 74th Amendment Act 1992 on the 30 on Article 243 P to Z. Free, fair, and frequent election under SCC, that is State Election Commission. In practice, timeline is not followed. Laid down the constitution of local bodies with the role of ward and constituency. For that, effective delimitation is required. Sources of fund and established power of State Finance Commission is established. However, the funding of local bodies is mostly through grant, 45%, then the self revenue. Affirmative action, that reservation of women 1/3 and the SC/ST is given, but OBC reservation is voluntary. Powers of mayor and executive is defined. In reality, states executive interfere and the limitation of power under state laws limit their function. Therefore, 74th Amendment Act remained an unfulfilled dream. The answer is multifaceted. In some cases, it has been unfulfilled. I think we could have first focus upon how and what dreams have been fulfilled rather than what has been unfulfilled. That would have given us a better opportunity, because everything which is being done, you can always find an excuse within that it is not being done properly. So the local urban governance is still understaffed, underpowered. Manishankar Era committee had said that it is due to the conspiracy between state and bureaucrats that local body is not effective. Voluntary provision like differentiation in services. We can speak about how our certain schemes and programs have been only successful because of smart city mission or even Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and Jan Dhan Yojana. Urban local bodies have played a very crucial role, and that local bodies it is an ongoing process. So the tone and the elements which one is bringing and innovativeness is very important. Social revolution like reservation of seats is just one step, but one dream is fulfilled, and then how you have to make sure that other things are being done. So financially, local bodies have been dependent on the grant in aid that is already written. As it has achieved some result. Local bodies in the arena of citizen participation for decision making, inclusion of SC/ST women. Local bodies plan for micro together helps localize. So increase opportunity of local governance is need to include secretary's model of Karnataka, financial security from social bond, disallowing power to mayor of Calcutta, and frequent and fair elections under the SCC in objective manner. So I think the structure could have been more optimistic. Structure could have been more critical. Nobody is saying that you have to write that everything is being done and everything is phenomenal, but what is being done, the amount of money that is being pumped, what kind of changes are being there, and then irritants of state not supporting and the staff and the funding, that is also appreciated. But then the tone and the style and the dream word is being used, because if one reads it, then the impression that you are giving is that the dream has never been fulfilled. And if it is that the case, then you have to write that how dream can be fulfilled. How does Niti Aayog as a policy think tank with shared vision visualize the reorganization of the planning in India? Justify your answer. So the reorganization of planning in India, about this reorganization of planning in India is very broad and a strategic and a very crucial element. Executive body authority from the members is influence policy making, chairperson, CEO, PM, chosen by the PM. Niti Aayog inherited structure from the Planning Commission, but the idea of cooperative federalism, based on the idea of cooperative federalism, the vision of planning in India. It is not asking for vision, it is asking how it is bringing the reorganization of planning. Reorganization is the key word over here. Long term, short term, okay, reviewing, frequently deliberating, granting aid. It chooses various innovative models, grassroots level, case studies, compiles index, composite water management index, coordination between government policy and private sector through incubator and workshops. So one has to bring the idea, what kind of idea they are using, what kind of post behavioral or what kind of political theory they are using, what kind of vision that they are carrying, what kind of tools, if they are using more scientific tools, or the political element is missing. What is their broad vision for making India a 5 trillion or 30 trillion economy? How they are seeing agriculture, how they are seeing human development, how they are seeing human capital formation, and so on. So broad and big words should be there. The vision of the reorganized planning, it is written at the bottom. I think bottom of approach, deliberate democracy, coordination, synergy, long-term planning, or it has been under question due to increased importance then to NIC, informal influence, grants and states. Thus, Niti Aayog commands respect for being open and productive information, dissension towards development and planning vision. So question was not asking, question was just asking that how Niti Aayog is it having any vision for the planning reorganization, and what is that planning? So it is based upon futuristic idea. It is making India ready for the next industrial revolution. It is using lot of data, lot of indexes, lot of surveys. It is becoming more tech oriented and so forth. ऐसा करके हम कुछ लिख सकते थे, justify करना था. Policy think tank with shared vision. तो शेयर्ड विजन किसका, गांव का, शहर का, गरीब का, वुमेन का, यूथ का, वो सब आना चाहिए. The Constitution of India is a cornerstone of a nation. चलिए. The Constitution of India is a cornerstone of a nation. That is what it is talking. And Constitution is a basic framework which decides relationship, social contract between state and citizen. Constitution has been a negotiated document to include such huge diversities of thought and culture and geographical boundaries. Thus, Constitution is a cornerstone of a nation, of Indian nation. Aspiration, vision, shared, derives inspiration, constitutional values, pedagogy, open, flexible. चलिए आगे चलिए. Keshan and Bharti case limits the power of state through protecting citizens within the nation. And it is also talking about sovereignty, theory of state, sovereignty, citizenship, parliament for discussion, judiciary, judgment, and majority in state. So I think cornerstone लाना चाहिए था that whether India wanted to implement fundamental rights to the last person. That is why cornerstone. Law of due process of law implemented and interpreted throughout period of, that is also constitution. Really fulfilling and standing for the last person, most most deprived person, that is also constitution. वो element आना चाहिए था. And then in that also we should be bringing that that how different theories are linked with it. So nation progresses in constitution, it is saying, but that is not possible to say that. So cornerstone, that how judiciary had stood for the people's rights and how judiciary had limited the executive influence, how it has helped in reducing corruption, how public interest litigation, कितना कुछ तो है. तो constitution, DPSP is a guiding light, and then स्वच्छ भारत अभियान फंडामेंटल ड्यूटी की तरह पूरा हुआ है. तो हमारा पूरा का पूरा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अपने आप में एक मॉडर्न गीता है. The Gita of people, something of that sort we could have written. Then I think more ease and more convenience and more clarity would have been there. Next, please.
So it is done.
Are you sure?
Anji sir. This was the last answer.
Yeah. So वो कहाँ गए Aurobindo and all that?
So I think उन 3 questions में से only 2 had to be done, so he opted for 2. क्या sir?
What is your first impression?
So I think he can simplify the tone of the answers more, and he can bring in more real life examples, which are more connected to what is actually happening, like as we discuss in the newspapers. So some recent examples they can be added, and he can directly, sir, he has to focus more upon the demand of the question. Instead of writing the basics about the topics, he can focus more. He should actually focus there.
So there is some scope, but then I find some kind of fluidity, I find some kind of clarity and effort towards it. So questions are, they are providing spark somewhere in certain ways. So that is also appreciated.
Ji, sir.
So we'll continue with the same fervor, with the same confidence and clarity, and let's together get success. Thank you very much.